This is Wednesday, and we're working on CIS-332 database and SQL. We've got some administrative topics, website development, and we talked a little bit about the career fair. This is finishing up week 11. All right. Past. Let's take a look at. We talked about work server 1, and people should have all the rights they need to do most anything they want on that work server in reference to MySQL. And so anything you can do, you would have to let me know. You should be able to add users. You should be able to manage passwords, access, duties, what they can do. There is, if you search the documentation, MySQL, they have a nice place that lists how to add users and grant duties. Okay. Also, this administrative work is in the module. So we talked a little bit about Linux, and we talked about XAMPP. You can install Windows, Mac OS. There would be another P on there. Okay, and it's kind of any platform would run these different web server solutions. So they're popular, even though you have to be careful about putting them into production because of security issues. There are a number of things to be aware of in terms of security as you create a website. So, let's keep moving. Database administration, Chief Information Officer. They are in charge of all information, which is huge nowadays in terms of, first of all, the amount of data we collect, and then what we do with that data. Anything, everywhere from analytics to so forth, to just using data to do the regular jobs. So, in a lot of places, then, there's a database manager in charge of the data specifically, whereas I like to think of a CIO as more in charge of the information. And I'll mention this over and over. We take data and we use technology to make information. If you want to just call it info. Okay? Chief Information Officer. Okay. So you can kind of separate it that way. It might give you a good view of that. Programmers then work at various levels, whether they are working on the web experience, all the way down to whether they're writing the PHP or Perl and accessing the database, programming, Apache, that this whole stack works. So we think about the front end of what the users see and the back end that supplies that information for the user. So you need to really think about that in the process and where different people fit in, whether you're in charge of this or whether you're part of developing it. So we created on Work Server 2, we created a user DB class 2018. They're created just like an individual. You have an index HTML file there, so we can access this user via the web, and we're going to be able to extend off of this to do work in terms of our database management systems. We can develop links to different locations. Also, if we want to, we could create a domain name. We already have dirkseneducation.com, and we can create a subdomain called database.dirkseneducation.com. Here's our domain, here's our subdomain, and then we can create for that a path to go to our database work. That makes sense? An example we have here at the college, Nyack IT, Nyack EDU. We have a subdomain that points at the Nyack domain. If you want to get some good background on the whole web experience, Mozilla Development Network, it is open, like you would expect. It's like open source, and it's one of those like a wiki, lots of people contribute to it, but it does a good job of taking you step by step if you want to learn more about the web design part of this. So that's almost it. We got view, we got the SQL, we created views, which drastically help in terms of writing our PHP to access the data, so we can have a good share of predetermined looks at our data. Okay, a view helps us take our data and create information easily. Okay, kind of like reports, preset queries. All right, so that is it for today.